Incoming message.
All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're putting on our investigative journalist hats and tracking the official government reactions to something huge: the impending release of the second batch of Pentagon UAP files. Lawmakers are practically sounding the alarm about massive societal disruptions, and honestly, we are standing on the precipice of a moment that could literally redefine reality as we know it. The official breadcrumbs the government is leaving us right now are just absolutely fascinating.
I mean, just look at this. On May 19th, 2026, a sitting member of the United States Congress walks out of a highly classified briefing on this second UAP batch, and they only had 2 words for the press. Holy crap. That's the whole quote. 2 words. You have to remember, this is coming from a lawmaker who looks at top-secret, highly classified government material literally for a living. That kind of visceral, unguarded reaction, it's incredibly telling. Politicians do not usually drop a holy crap over routine intelligence briefings. It definitely forces us to sit up and pay attention.
So what does this all mean? What exactly is the government preparing us for? This reaction from a seasoned lawmaker forces us to dig into what the Trump administration's Pursue system, that's the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP encounters, is actually getting ready to drop. Pursue is already a total game changer for the transparency landscape surrounding UAP files. But man, what's coming down the pipeline that leaves a politician visibly stunned?
Well, we're seeing a massive contrast here. Representative Eric Burleson, who's been a longtime advocate for disclosure, called that first batch of 162 declassified files just low-hanging fruit. You know, radar blips, astronaut debriefings, a bunch of heavily redacted locations. But the buzz around this upcoming second batch tells us it holds the truly sensitive stuff. It's categorically different. We aren't just looking at ambiguous, blocked-out government records anymore. We are shifting straight into the realm of expected, hard proof of non-human intelligence.
Section 1. The deliberate gaps. What was missing? As we all know, in the world of classified intelligence, what they don't say is usually way more important than what they do say. And there were 4 glaring, deliberate gaps in that first release. First off, absolute crickets on the covert crash retrieval programs that intelligence whistleblower David Grush testified about under oath back in 2023. Second, 0 mention of any non-human biological materials recovered from those sites. Third, pre-Cold War events, completely missing. Nothing on Roswell or the 1947 wave. And fourth, precise location data and geographic coordinates were just totally scrubbed. A holy crap reaction isn't about some new Cold War radar blips, right? It's about these massive, specific gaps finally getting filled in with actual, concrete data.
Now here is where things get truly unprecedented. Members of the House Oversight Committee are now explicitly claiming, on the record, that the materials coming in this second patch don't just suggest non-human intelligence exists, they prove it. Not imply, not indicate, proof. That is just a staggering escalation in language coming directly from official, elected channels.
I mean, really, let that sink in for a second. If this is accurate, this disclosure isn't just your standard evening news update. It literally represents the most significant moment in human history. We are talking about a total paradigm shift. It's the whole shebang, something that will touch absolutely every single aspect of human life.
Which brings us to Section 2, the 4 pillars of disruption. A revelation of this magnitude doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It completely shatters the existing frameworks we live by. Having proof of non-human intelligence disrupts our world simultaneously across multiple fronts. For science, it confirms we are not alone, obviously, but it also forces a massive shift in how we understand modern physics and technology. For government, it rips the lid off decades of secret programs operating with extraordinary technological advantages, all completely hidden from public oversight and democratic accountability. The real risk here is a complete erosion of public trust in state institutions when people realize the sheer scale of long-term government secrecy. And of course, it fundamentally challenges our core frameworks of both history and faith. Focusing on that religious disruption for a minute, every major faith tradition has some framework for the divine, right? But none of them have a simple, ready-made way to integrate confirmed, physical, non-human intelligence from outside Earth. This is absolutely going to trigger a massive theological shift. Billions of people across diverse world faiths are going to struggle to reconcile their core doctrines with this new, undeniable extraterrestrial reality. It's a lot to process. And historically, man, this is where it gets incredibly fascinating. Because if non-human intelligence has been interacting with Earth long-term, we basically have to hit the reset button and reassess archaeological mysteries from scratch. The pyramids, the Nazca lines, Sumerian texts, biblical accounts, worldwide flood myths,
Suddenly, these aren't just weird historical curiosities anymore. We have to look at them through the lens of potential ancient non-human contact. It heavily suggests that these long-term concealment efforts might have genuinely obscured our true archaeological past.
Section 3. The Staged Disclosure Strategy. Dropping a truth this heavy requires extreme orchestration. The government rarely does anything this profound by accident, and they definitely don't do it efficiently without a well-thought-out plan.
So we're looking at a highly phased roadmap here. Stage 1 happened years ago, officially admitting UAPs exist and are unexplained, using that famous TikTok footage. Stage 2 hit on May 8, 2026, when they released historical documentation through the Perseus system. And now, according to congressional sources, Stage 3 is imminent, the release of actual, undeniable proof of non-human intelligence. They are deliberately designing each stage to inch public acceptance just one tiny step further before the next big revelation lands.
The thinking here is pretty clear. Officials believe that dropping this kind of truth on an unprepared public all at once could literally cause massive societal collapse. So they're managing public readiness through these slow, carefully calculated stages. Because if you suddenly tell the world that reality is completely different, that our physics is totally incomplete, and that state institutions have hidden this for decades, well, widespread panic is a very real risk. The risks involved in staged government information releases are huge, no doubt, but to them, the alternative of ripping off the Band-Aid is considered far, far worse.
So, as we wait for this imminent drop, the real question we're left with isn't even whether the second batch will be extraordinary. The explicit reactions from lawmakers already confirm it absolutely is. The real question is whether our society, our institutions, and our own minds are truly ready for what Stage 3 will reveal. Are we genuinely prepared to redefine human history from the ground up? Think about that as you process everything we've covered in this explainer today. Stay curious, keep your eyes open, because our understanding of the universe is about to get a whole lot more interesting.
Come to me, chickens, cock-a-doodle-doo!